In this video, I want to discuss about the GATE syllabus, how many subjects we have in GATE for computer science. It is just for computer science, not for other branches. How many subjects we have in computer science GATE, and how many marks you can expect from each subject when analyzed over the past 5 years, from 2010 till 2015. When we analyze the papers, how are they asking the pattern? So on average, how many marks they are asking? And then I would like to recommend some textbooks also so that you can follow them. But before I recommend any textbooks, there is a word of caution. So if you are just finished your second year BTech, and if you are entering the third year BTech, and if you have nearly 2 years of time, 2 years, then I suggest that you go for textbooks reading also, which means you read textbooks, standard textbooks, which I prefer, which I suggest. But then if you are having just 1 year, let's say you are in final year now and you are already busy with your college work and you don't have a lot of time, you must be doing already the project work, right? And along with the project work and the course work, along with the GATE preparation, if you have to again read all the textbooks right from scratch, it is going to be nearly impossible. So read the textbooks only if you have enough time. Let's say if you are preparing GATE full time, you have taken a year drop and you are preparing, you are at home and preparing continuously, you are not doing any job or you are not having any college work or course work, then I suggest that if you have time, we can go and look at the standard textbooks. And before doing that, I'll just tell you how to evaluate whether you need to read a textbook or not. See, the main disadvantage coming to reading a textbook is, standard textbook is, see, I'm not against them. I read every textbook, so I'm definitely not against them. But considering your situation, you should analyze whether you need it or not. The problem with these textbooks is, when they start out in the first page, they will start out with the introduction, and the introduction, most of the pages in the introduction or in the concepts will contain the things which you already know, most of them. Then it doesn't look exciting for you. It is like this: if you have already watched a movie once, and if you are watching the same movie again for the second time, you will definitely sleep, isn't it? So that is what happens when you are reading the textbook. It doesn't have that crux, in the sense it is not filtered. They write everything in that. So reading every line of the textbook and reading every page is really time taking and boring. So what I tell you is, don't start from the introduction page, don't start from about the author and then the acknowledgements and then the index page. Don't start from there, directly jump onto the topic where you think you are lacking the concept. So how to find out whether you have to get into a topic? That depends on the previous GATE question papers. Let us say you have taken the previous GATE question papers and you are not able to solve some questions based on DFA. Then that is when you should decide that you have to read more about DFA, not the entire textbook, only about DFA. Then just jump onto the DFA topic, finish it off, and then come back. In case if that topic is referring to some other topic, to understand this, then you might have to read it. So don't start a textbook from first page and don't go till the last page. Don't do that ever. You will be able to finish only one book by the time you write GATE, if you are preparing for 1 year. If you are preparing for 2 years, probably you might have time. Or if you are preparing for BTech exams, yes, you will have time and you can read everything. I don't suggest that you do this if you are having only 1 year. See, what happens is, you might have observed this. Many times we sit down to read a textbook and maybe you look at the watch, the time will be 9 a.m. in the morning, you start it and you will be in the first page, and then time will be 10 a.m. you will be again in the first page, 11 a.m. first page, 12 a.m. 12 p.m. first page, and like that time will go on and you will end up in the first or second or third page by the evening. You will be wasting the entire day. So reading textbooks is really a waste of time. The best way to learn anything is from experts, that is through diffusion. I'm not saying it. Maybe you could watch the course about there is a course, I don't remember the professor. They are researchers in neurobiology, and what they found out is, through research on human brain, and the course name is learning how to learn. They have even written a book. I forgot that name of the author. I'll just give you. There they have clearly mentioned that the best way to learn anything is not by reading standard textbooks. It is by learning from experts through diffusion. So talk to the experts about the subjects, get some introduction from them. They will be able to present the picture, the big picture in a better way, and then maybe next if you read the textbook, that will add on to that, but don't directly jump onto this. Okay, fine. So after even saying all this, if you are interested in reading the textbooks and if you have enough time, yes, I'll give you the books. But then let's do one thing. Before giving you the list of books, I'll tell you list of subjects and then their weightage and how easily you can score the marks in GATE. Then you prepare the subjects in the order that I mentioned now. I'm not just going to tell you the subjects only. I'm going to write them in some order. You just follow or prepare according to the order I write them, and then you read the textbook correspondingly if you want to read it. Okay. So now in this video, I'm not just going to present the subjects and books and weightage. I'm also going to give you the order in which you should be preparing for GATE. So if you follow this order, it will be easy for you. I mean, I'm just going to put easily scoring subjects at the beginning, so that you will be able to finish them off first, and then the subjects which are not having a huge weightage at the end. Okay, so that way you will feel confident that once you finish all the easy part, then the next step will be to finish the difficult part. That will be easy. At least you are half done. Okay, so let me take the subjects. I'll just give you the list. I prepared the list. So first easiest subject is TOC. That is what I feel. TOC. See, one thing I can tell you is I read both the electronics, electrical, computer science books. So, and even I read these GATE papers of electronics, electrical, and sometimes mechanical. Just for some subjects, I'm interested in some subjects. So just for fun, I read them. What I found out is GATE computer science is the easiest. I've seen all the papers, I analyze them. GATE, electro ECE. ECE, if you take it, ECE or EEE, there is a subject called in ECE EMT, electromagnetic theory. You should really read some few pages of the book, any book. You'll understand how difficult it is. Or if you go for and then there is signals and systems. There are some subjects in other branches. That in civil also there are some subjects which are mainly mathematics oriented. They need lots of your basics, that if you are not good with your in your 10th class and then +1 +2, if you are not good with the mathematics, physics, you will not be able to do well in GATE. But coming to GATE computer science, I don't know how to say it, but then it is the easiest. Even a 10th class student without any basics from intermediate, that +1 and +2, he could directly attend the classes of computer science and he could learn everything and write GATE and get first rank. That is what I can say. Which means computer science, the word CS, I feel that it doesn't stand for computer science, it stands for common sense. Most of the subjects, they just need your common sense, your aptitude. One other word is intuition. So if you have the intuition, you'll be easily be able to learn it. So one best example is TOC. Let me tell you, you just refer my TOC videos to any of your friends who are not from computer science. They will understand it right from the beginning. Everything they will be able to understand it, and by the end they'll be as good as you are, even though they didn't do computer science for 4 years. So many of the subjects in computer science really don't need 4 years of effort. You can just sit for 10-20 hours and read everything. I mean, at least watch all the videos and then you can learn everything. So once a subject is TOC, it doesn't require any basics from you. Even a 10th class student can understand it, and it is really scoring. In GATE, you can just look at the question paper. You can just, you don't have the question paper these days, right? You have the online test. In GATE, you can just look at the question and simply look at the options. Without using pen and paper, you can answer it. You can answer any question in TOC. Questions will be either too difficult that even if you use a pen and paper, you will not get the answer, or questions will be too simple that you can do the math in your mind and using your intuition you can answer it. So don't leave this subject. Very easy subject, very scoring. For the past 5 years, if you observe it, the minimum marks that we got from this subject is 3, and on average we got from this subject is 6, and the maximum marks that we got from this subject is 8. So this has happened for the past 5 years. When analyzing the papers from 2010 to 2015, this is the marks we got. And for this one, it is very difficult that there is a small the subject name is a bit misleading in the sense TOC stands for theory of computation. The name contains the word theory, but in exam they rarely ask theory. Everything will be problems only. And if you look at any textbook on TOC, they will be having only a theory part, not the problems. So what I did is I completely changed it. The way I teach it will be like completely problems. I'll try to explain you a concept through a problem, and I try to provide, and I have actually provided hundreds of examples, solved examples, and mostly you'll be getting the questions from those examples itself, because I covered almost everything. I didn't leave any scope for a new question. So my suggestion is there is no need to read anything for this subject if you are watching my videos, but still if you want the textbook that I followed is Ullman, but I followed this only for the theory, and the examples and all I framed them on my own, and then I looked at the previous gate questions and then got some models from that, got some ideas from that, and then reading the textbook I have seen these practice questions at the end, and then I framed my own questions. So reading the textbook for this one really doesn't help, because whatever you could get from a textbook I already explained it, and if you are not able to get anything from my videos, I don't think that these books will be able to explain them better. So still, if you are interested in reading it, go for Ullman book. This, I don't know, yeah, it is up to you. And the next one is compiler design. So compiler is a systems course, in the sense if you are interested in compiler design, and if you want to pursue your career in this area, compilers, you must be good with coding. But then coming to gate, we don't have the coding part. They will just ask you, they'll just ask you some problems which are from your from TOC extension, you can say. I mean, once you are done with TOC, compiler design will be easy. But then coming to only for gate, TOC and compiler design, or it will be like an extension, which means if you have to do compilers, you have to finish TOC. But then practically TOC is completely theoretical. It falls in the theory area, and compilers falls in the systems course, right? So for this one, I have covered the major part in videos, and it is very easy to answer questions in gate. Most of the questions, if they ask you 4 questions in compiler design, you will be able to answer 3 questions directly, and 1 question might trouble you sometimes. So over the past 5 years, the minimum number of marks asked from compiler is 3, on average 4.5 marks, and maximum number of marks asked is 6. So my suggestion is the dragon book. So there is this dragon book, and the book name is Compiler Design Techniques, Tools and Principles. Compiler Design Principles, Techniques and Tools, I guess. So however, this is the only book available. Compiler Design Tools, Techniques and Principles by Aho, Ullman and Ravi Sethi. So these are the authors. You can find this book online and you can purchase it, but the book is having roughly, I think, 700 pages, I guess. It is very big book. If you can buy that book, you can even use it as a dumbbell or a pillow if you wish. Okay, so if you are interested, you can read about it, but this book alone will take your entire 2 years. So the next one is, the easiest subject is digital logic design. So digital logic design is simplest subject, you can say. There is no way, or there is no chance that you could miss any question from that. So in this one, you are going to have 3 marks is the minimum, and 5.5 marks is the average, and 8 marks is the maximum that we got over the past 5 years. And so this subject is, one thing is it is important, and second thing is it is very much scoring. There is no way you can miss out any questions from that. And the books that you can follow is, one is R.P. Jain, Digital Electronics by R.P. Jain, and the other is Maurice Mano. other one, and the other book is Kohavi, Zadesho Kohavi. So the book name by Kohavi is I think switching theory and switching and automata theory, I think switching theory and automata design or something. So it contains both automata and switching theory, so you can look at that. So RP Jain is good for sequential circuits, Morris Monod is good for combinator circuits, and if you are looking at this number system and then minimization of functions, Kohavi is good. Kohavi is the best book. So if you can read these three books, you will not miss any question. Anyway, I have covered all the concepts from these three books. Even if you watch all the videos of the digital from my videos, they are enough. They are enough for GATE. I covered more than enough topics in this. So in this, especially in this digital logic design, what I did is I have taken some topics which for computer science students might not be necessary for GATE, but it will enhance your understanding. I have taken some topics which were discussed for other students like ECE students, and I include in the computer science GATE. But no questions have been asked from that. But then once you practice this, it will make things very easy for you. Okay. And the next one is computer networks. So computer networks, actually people think that it is not scoring because the textbooks doesn't contain lot of information about it. But then what I did is I have made this computer networks. The problem with computer networks is all the textbooks contain theory, but in GATE they will ask mainly problems, and these problems are actually from the practical scenarios. So what I did is I had taken these CCNA books, but if you directly read CCNA books, you will not understand anything because there will be lot of things to be left out. Most of the things will be specific to the Cisco's routers and switches. They will not discuss about general concepts. So it is better that you read all the textbooks, or again for this one also I suggest that you watch only my videos. They are good enough. You need not read anything. And even the average marks, see this 8 marks is on average they are asking for the past 5 years. So even if you look at it, the weightage of the subject is high, and if you finish my videos, you will not miss any question. Almost I can say that you will get at least 7 marks if you are getting out of 8. That is what I can say. And the textbooks for this one is Tannenbaum. Tannenbaum is a good textbook, and the other one is Forozan. So Forozan book is fine, is very good book. It will even contain some theory. So what you can do is, physical layer and data link layer are not generally stressed in GATE too much. So for physical layer and data link layer you can follow Forozan, and for other layers you can follow any of them, and you can follow Tannenbaum because it is easy to understand. Both of them are equally good. I cannot say anything. You can follow anything, but then data link layer and physical layer go for Forozan because it is actually data communications book. So which will include the communications also. If you have to understand these communications, there is easy subject with the title communications. There is signals and systems, and then communications. See, the problem with computer networks for computer science students is we will be dealing only with the software part, the network layer, transport layer, and coming to this data link layer, they are sometimes asking one question. Maximum one question they are sometimes asking. Over the past 5 years they have asked only 2 questions I guess from data link layer. But the problem is, if you have to answer such questions, you have to learn 2 subjects. One is signals and systems from electronics, and then other is data communications. The data communication will be analog communication and digital communication. There will be 2 parts, and signals and systems will be, one is signals and other is systems. Signal design and then systems. System design and then signal analysis is there. So if you have to understand these 2 subjects, they are completely mathematics oriented. I'll try to do that. If you have time, you can go through it. Otherwise, you can leave it. Just stick on to whatever I teach in the computer networks videos. That will be good enough. So the reason why many people think that computer networks is not scoring and difficult is this: the computer network books will contain only theory, but the exam paper will be mostly problems and bit of theory. So that is where people get misled and they think that it is not scoring. But then what I made is I tried to pull out the questions from CCNA books and other sources where I work for Cisco. So I tried to pull out the problems, the practical problems from Cisco and CCNA books, and I try to change the subject completely from how it is being taught in these books. So even if you watch my demo videos on YouTube, you will understand how different it is from the way I teach and from the way it is presented in textbooks. I'm not saying that they presented it wrong in textbooks, but then the gate orientation, it has to be completely different. They are asking the problems which we come across in the real life computer networks. So if you are really interested in learning about this CCNA stuff, I have a book with me. I'll just see if I'll give you the book name later. I think I kept it somewhere. I'll give you that book later. Okay. So now that is about computer networks. You can follow these two books. The CCNA book I'll give you later. And next one is, fifth one is operating systems. Again, operating systems, the same thing applies. People think that it is not scoring, but it is the most scoring subject, I can tell you. So even if you read the textbooks also, there is no chance that you miss out anything. I prepared many problems in the videos, but still the textbooks are also good for this subject. So the minimum marks we got is 6, and on average it is 8.5 marks. See the weightage, and maximum is you might get 12 marks in 1 year. So see the weightage. The weightage of this one alone is as much as mathematics, isn't it? So for this one we have various books. What I suggest is, for memory management, go for Galvin. So Galvin book, the red book, I must be knowing about it. That will have this dinosaurs on it. And then for synchronization, you follow Tenenbaum, the circus book. It will have the circus, front page will contain the circus. And my suggestion is, you can go with these two books, but then don't read the book by William Stallings. William Stallings has completely ruined my OS in BTech. In my BTech college, when I was doing BTech, university has prescribed this book, William Stallings book, and my faculty, she religiously followed this book as if it is a Bible. She used to mug it up completely and come into the class and just sneeze it. It was really hell. William Stallings, I read it, but it contains all the case studies. They don't explain the concepts well. So please don't follow this book. Never read this book for operating systems. For computer organization you can read it, but then for OS, don't read this book. You follow only these two books. Again, let me warn you, don't start from introduction. They contain a lot of stories, most of which you will know and you will sleep. So just directly jump onto the topic. If you are looking at memory management, just directly go on to the topic like paging and start off with paging. Don't start from the introduction. Don't start from page 1. Okay. So this is, and even you will enjoy reading Galvin. I suggest that you read it. You thoroughly enjoy it. And even Tenenbaum is also good. And even the problems that I did in my videos are also interesting. I picked up some problems from previous GATE question papers and I created some problems of my own. You will thoroughly enjoy it. The analysis, see, the analyzing them, they have given some solutions. I cannot stop talking about it. In synchronization and memory management, they have just explained the concepts well with 1 or 2 examples, but the way I analyze it will make you feel even the subject is beautiful. You just watch it. It is actually my favorite subject, operating systems, one of my favorite subjects. And the next one is DBMS. So DBMS, the minimum marks is 6, on average 7.5, and maximum marks is 11. So see the weightage. It has got good weightage in GATE. So if you want to read some textbook, I suggest that there is Raghuram Krishna, and there are various books for this, Sudarshan and then Raghuram Krishna, and lots of books. And I suggest that you go for Navate. Navate is the best book that I feel. And take a old edition. So what happened is, this Raghuram Krishna and Sudarshan, these books, they made them into 500 or 700 pages book, like compiler design books. The book will be this big. It will be useful for you for workouts, for dumbbell, as you can use them as dumbbells also, or pillows. Then what happened is, this Navate, what he did is, earlier he used to have a very small book. It used to have maybe roughly 200 pages or so. It used to be So seeing the other books, Navate has also increased the size to 500 pages or 700 pages. So what I suggest you is, you find out the old editions of Navate if you can find in the market. they'll be good. So old editions means maybe they must have published them in year 2000 to 2004 5 like that. So at that time you'll get the old book, and it is good. But anyway, it has got good weightage. So I solved almost all the problems and concepts in the videos. There will be no need to again read about this. And even if you are reading this, there will be theory only. Don't expect that they'll do a lot of problems. So we did the problems in our videos, lot of them. And the next one is algorithms. So algorithms is very easy, but then they can twist a bit in the question. See, on all the other subjects which I told you, there is not a much of twist, which means you need not think about the question. Once you practice the questions, you need not put a lot of time thinking about them in the exam. But algorithms, you could really twist the question in such a way that you might have to think about the question for some time. Okay, but then it has got very high weightage. So minimum marks for the past 5 years from 2010 to 2015, minimum marks is 9, and on average they have 12 marks, and maximum marks asked is 15. Think about it. Only one subject is carrying as much as 15 marks. So algorithms is really important. And the books that you can follow for this is, one is Coreman, that CLRS book, Introduction to Algorithms by Coreman. You must be knowing about it. Most popular book in BTech, maybe the celebrity of all books. And the next one is Horowitz. Horowitz is that yellow book, Horowitz and Sahani. What is in book name? Design and Analysis of Algorithms by Horowitz and Sahani, and it is Introduction to Algorithms by Coreman. So this Coreman, this CLRS, it is also called as CLRS. Coreman is a very big book. I suggest that you read it whenever you get time. But the analysis, I did it far better compared to the book. Anyway, you see my analysis and then read the algorithms in this book, and also in Horowitz also you can read them. But reading it will definitely help you. At least if you don't read all the books, when you find time, just go through this. After watching my videos, it will be very easy for you to understand what they have written. So if you directly go on to this, you might not be in a position to understand it. Once you have done the course in BTech, and if your faculty has taught it well, then these books will be very easy for you. So just go through these books. I suggest that you go through these books, but then just be careful. This Coreman is a very big book. Don't read it from the first page. Just see what are the topics that you have in the GATE syllabus, and only read those topics first. And later, if you have time, you can read the other topics as well. Okay, but then it is really important subject. And the next one is data structures and programming. So data structures and programming, minimum is 1, on average 7, and maximum is 14 in 1 year, in one paper, 14 marks, and average is 7. Average is also good. Therefore, it is also important. So the books which I recommend for this is, again, Coreman. It has got some algorithms, and Coreman actually contains algorithms and data structures as well. Horowitz also contains algorithms and data structures also. And there is one more book that is generally followed in IITs. This book is by Klinberg and Tardos. So Klinberg, Klinberg, Klinberg and Tardos. It is generally popularly called as KT book. It is followed in IISc and IITs by most of the professors. They give the assignments from this, and the beauty of this book is they take the problems from the real world and then try to map onto this algorithm subject. So some people really like it. Some people, see, there are two types of people. Some people really like and recommend Coreman, and some people really like and recommend KT book. And both are equally followed in IITs and IISc. These either Coreman they follow or KT they follow. Or sometimes they follow both of them, and some topics are good from this and some topics are good from this. So if you have time, you can even look at this book for this. And for programming, we have C programming language, and so go for the book Dennis Ritchie by Dennis Ritchie. Dennis Ritchie is the best book, the C programming language by Dennis Ritchie. So that is the best book that you can read about the C programming language. Now if you see these 8 subjects, and if you add up all these marks, maybe 10 and then 15 and then 23 and then 35, nearly they are containing on average, nearly they will sum up to 60 marks. So this is what I call as the core. So these subjects you should be really be confident about. So before reading any other subject or doing any other thing, for as a computer science student, get a grip on this. The reason why I'm stressing so much is these subjects are really scoring, really easy to understand, and even a 10th class student, if he starts from scratch and when watches my videos, he will definitely understand everything. So give topmost priority to these subjects. Now let's look at the other subjects. So one of the other core subject is CO. So CO is I can tell you it is difficult in the sense it is difficult to explain you the concepts in a theory. See, computer organization is all about the hardware, but then without taking a hardware device, it is very difficult to make you imagine the computer and then talk about the concepts. And most of the books will do that. So what I am trying to do is, even though we don't have microprocessors in the syllabus, I'll take 8085 and 8086 microprocessors and I'll teach them first, and after learning about them you'll be able to understand the concepts, and later you can understand the general concepts better. So it will be easy for me to explain microprocessors and then get on to the real computers, and even if for you it will be easy to understand the microprocessors first and get the concepts easily. So microprocessors is not in GATE. They might not ask you any question. Maybe they might have asked 1 or 2 questions in the past, but then they are not very important. So but then don't leave it out. So whatever I put up in the videos, give top priority to that, right, highest priority to that, and finish them, and later you can go on to something else. But then whatever I upload in CO, if you watch it, that will be good enough. So in this one, if you look at the weightage of CO, it is having as much as digital. So even you can compare it same as digital. So minimum is 2 marks, and on average 5.6 marks is asked, and the maximum is 9 marks. So it has got good weightage. I'll tell you exactly what to read and what not to read in the videos. In case if you are interested about reading the books, then yes, there are various books. One is JP Hayes is there. JP Hayes, it is followed in many IITs, and the other one is Peterson is there, and the other one is Paul Chowdhury. So Paul Chowdhury, the problem is it is a very big book and very good for memory management, but it will be mainly useful for the EC students, electronics and communication students, and probably EEE. I don't know if EEE students have it, but EC students it will be very useful. The reason is when they talk about the memory, they talk about the flip-flops, and then they talk about the diodes, they talk about the transistors. So they get into the hardware from a very ground level, but then we have an abstract view of the memory. We don't look at the memory as a organization of flip-flops or something else. We don't see diodes and all, but then they have all these diodes, and then they have refreshing time. So Paul Chowdhury actually deals with the subject at a greater depth than required for a computer science student. Then what I did is, I taken the concepts from it, and then I have filtered out as much as possible, but still I have added some few points about which will be useful only for EC students, but then it will be helpful for us to understand the entire course. See, sometimes I try to add the points which are not there in the syllabus, but it doesn't mean that I am trying to waste your time. I add them because if you understand them, the other topics which are related to GATE will be easy. That is the only reason I do it. So whenever I add anything and I mention that it is not for GATE, it doesn't mean that you should skip the video and go on to the next one. It means that it will be useful to understand the other topics. So give the top priority, topmost, first priority to my videos, and then you can do anything else. Okay. So yes, these are the books that you can follow for this. And then there is one more subject. Let's finish all the computer science subjects here, and the next priority will be software engineering. So software engineering, the marks are like this. Sometimes it is not asked. Minimum is 0, and on average 2.5 marks. Maximum is 5. So looking at this maximum, it feels like we should not take any risk. Otherwise it is okay, but then see this, if you get a set in which you have 5 marks of software engineering, and someone else gets a set in which they have 0 marks in software engineering, and if you have left this subject completely, then you will be at a disadvantage. For that reason, I am going to cover this software engineering only to the extent which you need. And the book is Pressman. Pressman is the book. The book title is Software Engineering: A Practitioner's Approach. Okay. So next one is web technologies. 11 web tech. See, prepare them in this order only. Okay. Web technologies. So the web technologies minimum is 0 and on average 0.8. Maximum asked till now is 2 marks. That's it from web technologies. I don't really suggest that you prepare this vast subject, web technologies, even though there are various books which have been written like too big. Don't go for that. So what I suggest is you can first finish all these 8 subjects, then you can put this CO on hold, that is up to you, but definitely put SC and WT, these web technologies, on hold and go on to mathematics and aptitude. Okay, I'll tell you how to do mathematics next. I'll erase this and I'll tell you. Now let's see mathematics and other topics. So one is we have mathematical logic. So for this logic, over the past 5 years, the minimum marks asked is 0, on average 2.1, and maximum marks asked is 4. So these are pretty good numbers. So it has got some good weightage, right? And then probability. The minimum marks asked in any paper is 0, and then on average 3.2 marks, and maximum marks asked is 6. Very good number. And then set theory and algebra. So for set theory and algebra, we have minimum marks is 0 and maximum on average 4.3 and maximum marks is 12. See this 12. It's very important. And combinatorics. And for combinatorics, minimum marks asked is 0, on average 0.8, so maximum marks is 12, so not very important, but we can still deal with it. And next one is graph theory. So graph theory minimum marks is 0, on average 3.1 and maximum is 5. See these numbers, important. And then linear algebra. So minimum marks is 1, on average it is 2.2 and maximum marks is 3. So average is 2.2, consistently being asked, and every year you are going to get 1. So this is the only topic which you have, there is certain guarantee in mathematics. No other mathematics topic there is a guarantee that they will ask, but then linear algebra they will at least ask 1 mark, and that will be very easy. Okay. And the next one is numerical methods. So in numerical methods, minimum marks is 0 and maximum marks on average it is this, and maximum marks is 2. Not very important, but we can still prepare for that. And for calculus is also not very important. Minimum marks is 0, 1.9 and then 5 marks, and this 5 marks I think they have asked it by mistake. They might have overlooked something or not something, because calculus we don't have really in computer science we don't really use calculus a lot. If you look at this electronic subjects, EC subjects or mechanical, they have this area under the curves. Every signal is a curve and then they have to find out the area, and for that reason they will use this calculus. Their branches are completely filled with integration and differentiation, but then we don't have anything really integration, anything about integration and differentiation, because we don't deal with continuous things. We have discrete things, right? We have just the objects. So it doesn't make sense that you learn calculus being a computer science student, but still they have by mistake given 5 marks, and average shows that it is not very important. It is not really very important. Okay. And then the numerical ability, that aptitude part, minimum marks is 6 every year asked, and on average it is 7.8 and maximum marks is 10. This is as good as any computer science subject, but then the syllabus is vast compared to computer science subject. Okay. And then verbal ability. It is very difficult to answer this verbal part unless you have a hobby of reading novels, English novels, that too not the ancient ones. If you have any hobby of reading novels recently, if you read any recent novels, then it might help you if your vocabulary is good. So what I do is generally I leave out this part in the exam at least, because many options look close to the answer, and since English is not our mother tongue, I'm not really good with it, and I don't know how good you are. But if you have to become proficient in this, now you might have to watch English movies, English serials, and then you might have to watch National Geographic channel, read Hindu paper, all this to get the vocabulary right. So I'm not sure what to do about this. It is up to you. So on average it is 7 marks. So even if you leave it out, I think you have 93 marks to go with. So it is up to you. Okay. Now for this mathematical logic, you follow that Kenneth Rosen book. Kenneth Rosen. That is a good book, but many people think that it is not sufficient for this, because he has written it in very simple terms. But if you take time and go slowly, and if you try to understand everything, I think this book has got everything that is required for GATE exam. Okay, so whatever topics are there in Kenneth Rosen, if you read it, that will be good enough for this GATE. And then for probability, the book is by Sheldon M. Ross. Sheldon M. Ross, a very good book. And set theory and algebra, you please refer to these IIT JEE preparation books. They have got good problems and good theory. Any IIT JEE preparation books, if you are prepared for IIT JEE, you can take them. And combinatorics also, you can take IIT JEE book. And for this graph theory, you can find the book by Sudarshan, and that is a very good book for graph theory. But then they cover it at a higher depth. It is not required. So you can stick on to my videos, that is enough. And for linear algebra also, you can find any IIT JEE books, they will be good enough. Or you can stick on to my videos, I covered hundreds of examples. And for numerical methods, yes, you can follow any local book. No standard book is not required. Any local book will do, and moreover it is not very important. And calculus, go for IIT JEE books. Numerical ability, I'll take it. So what I'll do is numerical ability. It is better that we go with the CAT syllabus. So CAT has got some good questions in numerical ability and the good models that will help you increase your aptitude. So even though the level at which I take this subject will be higher than what is required for GATE, these questions which I solve will help you feel that GATE is easy. Okay. So one beauty about this numerical ability is, questions is, if you can take a lot of time, you will definitely be able to answer it. So let us say by the time you answer all the questions from the computer science topics and then mathematics, if you are having 20 minutes left, then definitely you will be able to answer all these questions, right? So numerical ability, it doesn't require practice, but still we shall do some models, but then it really depends on your aptitude and your intuition. So intuition is nothing but the previous intellectual experience, which means the more problems you solve in any subject, is not just about computer science. The more problems you solve, the more ability that you get, that you can solve these questions easily. Okay. And verbal ability, I suggest that you leave this part out. Let's do some basics about, at least about whatever we can answer, but then don't try to answer it unless you are 100% sure. These questions are so what can I say, they are so tempting that you might feel that you know the answer and you want to answer it, but then you might go wrong in that. So unless you are 100% sure, don't go for this. Okay. So my suggestion is, for mathematics part, most of it you try to solve any local book and try to solve as many problems as possible. Practice is mainly required for mathematics. Okay, for this part. What I'll do is, I'll try to solve as many questions as possible in the videos, and I'll give you little work also, not too much. I'll give you 500 questions on mathematics, that will be enough. Okay. So this is all about the books and the subjects and the marks and the books we have. You can just see if you really need the books to fine. Anyway, you please watch the videos first, give the top priority to that. And if you have not registered for the course, you can please visit my website www.ravindrababu.com and get the details, register for the course, and then again go for the textbooks. Both of them will be useful. It is not that only by doing textbooks you'll be able to do well, given the time also, right? Fine.